Hello, welcome to this video demonstration. Here I'll be showing you how I wrote my pipeline script from scratch. So I'll be also narrating the step of how I came about the whole script and what the script does and what each stages is going to do. So also I would show you this is my bash script, the WordPress web server. This is the infra, that's the Terraform script. So I just committed them from the um from the remote repository to my local repository. So I would also show you my Git runner. I have created a Git runner for this process. This is the Git runner is online. So without further ado, I will be going to the pipeline editor. So to begin creating this pipeline. And so yeah, I would also like to inform you that after this, I would show you the WordPress which I deployed. I would access it from my machine here. After the after this the CI/CD process is completed, I would before I destroy this, because there is a part of this CI/CD configuration that involve cleanup. So we'll get to that part. I would start the process by writing the stages. So in this process we have six stages. So well, the first stage is the validate. So what the validate does is to check for the sanity checks, like if any of the script, if any of the resource is, or the script is valid here. So validation of the script and all the script we have on this. So the next one we have is the excuse me. So the next one we have is the infrastructure. Infrastructure. So infrastructure. So this is one stage. The third stage is the health check. Health check. So the fourth stage is the deploy. So this is deploy. Then the next stage is the test. The last stage is the cleanup. So these stages have their various functions. First stage is to validate the script and all the script you have in the repository. Also, and the second one is the infrastructure, is to deploy Docker infrastructure in Terraform. And the third one is the health check. This confirmed service are actually up and they are usable. So the fourth one is the deploy. This deploys the WordPress application, and the fifth one is the test. This test the deployment, if the deployment works. So the last one, which is the cleanup, this destroys every of the resources we've created. So the next thing we're going to do here is to state our variables. So variables, in this sense, variables are, they are a global is a global variables, like they replace hard-coded paths, hard-coded credentials. So you don't have to input your credentials in the pipeline. So you can use a variable to represent them. So here in this part, we're going to one of our variable as Terraform, Terraform directory. So this directory is Terraform directory that contains our Terraform script. So we'll now have this script we have for Terraform is infra. So the next one we have here is the script, script directory. So this script directory contains the bash scripts which um, we are going to run for the deployment. So this so the next variable we have here is the project roots. So this project root is where that contains our the paths for all the files we have. So this is the file directory rather. So we have here some OPT DevOps DevOps project. So the next we have here is the next thing we're gonna do here is to begin with our first stage. The first stage we have is the validate. So we're gonna give it validate, the name validate. So this validate Terraform, that's the name we're gonna give it. Validate Terraform. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna state the stage for this validate. The stage for this process is the validate like we have before when we started. So the next thing is tags. So tags basically it segments the segments the runner and gives you give you the ability to actually give permissions to the particular runner you want to use to run a stage. So this this part now we will use our runner we just configured and the tag we're going to give it is deployment. So the next thing we're going to do is to write the script. The script. So the script we're going to write. First thing we're going to write here is we're going to write echo. This is just an information like passing an information. So echo pass an information is not actually a command. It's just giving an information, making your script more professional and making it simple to understand what next is coming. So this is um, this is going to display during this when you run the script too. So this is what we have here. We have echo to tell us that we are validating the Terraform configuration. Configuration. Now the next thing we're going to write here is the CD. We are going to CD into the Terraform directory. So what we're going to put here is CD from the root directory. So we're going to put the dollar sign, the root directory. So we're gonna okay, this is root project root. Then we'll now go to Terraform. Yeah. So next thing we're gonna do here is to configure the Terraform init So this Terraform init we're going to configure is essentially to provide it initialize the providers. So it initializes the providers. So we have different providers, the cloud providers like Azure, we have the AWS, we have the Google. So this initialize the providers without configuring the backend. So we'll do Terraform init backend equal to false. So we are not configuring a backend. So now what this means is this saves the state file. It saves and looks up the state file and the record of what we have as in what we have deployed, the infrastructure we have deployed. So it gives us a record of what we have created. So this the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna do the Terraform validate. So this checks for syntax and checks for internal logic if the configuration is invalid. So Terraform validate. So now the next we're going to give an echo message. I call it message because it's more like giving you an information of what you're doing. It's a very good way of writing script, checking the Terraform formatting. So after this we're going to check for the formatting. So we are going to write Terraform format. Let me pull this up. Yeah, Terraform format. Check. So this check for wrong formatting and ensures the Terraform files follow a standard formatting. So this check for wrong formatting, and what we are going to add here is a more like what happens if this check completes. So this will be echo what will be the outcome Terraform 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 need formatting need formatting. So the next thing we're going to configure is um another echo. We're going to give it Terraform validation pass. So if the check completes, so we are going to get a note we're going to get an echo message that says Terraform has passed. So this is essentially what this particular side of the okay, I think I missed a part here. So yeah, I would add this. This is something I need to include here. This I made an error here, so I will just change this to need, and this particular session I'm adding now is to format the infra directory. The infra directory have the Terraform script. So it's going to format the infra directory format in infra directory and commit the changes. So this is what it will do. It will check for the formatting, and if it checks for the formatting on the infra directory where we have our Terraform script, so if it checks that and whatever the outcome will be, would exit the code with status one, exit with status one code. So this is what the Terraform script looks like. The Terraform validate for the first stage looks like. So we would add one important section here. This section is a section that runs the job only when the main branch there and during merging, like during when there is a merge request. So this the let me just put this only only main merge. So this merge requests. So this essentially gives us a rule of or what we want to achieve here. So the only sign means that the keyword restrict the job that will be run and defines it to the branches and tags that must match the job. So it doesn't run it in any branch in our CI/CD. It's going to run it on the main. So that means the job will only be run when the pipeline is triggered on the main branch. That's what this last section of the script means. So the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna write the second script. We're gonna write the second validate script. So this one validates for Terraform. The next one we're going to validate is for deployment. So we're having is for the script, like the bash script, yeah. So we're gonna do validate validate script. Validate script. So now we'll have stage as validate also. So the tags will be deployment. Deployment. Now we'll have the script that contains the jobs. So this the first thing we're going to put here is the echo. We usually use this echo basically to help us, especially when we are troubleshooting. So we know the section of the script throws an error, so we can navigate to that part and know what was missed out. So sometimes when writing code or when writing a script, you 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 probably missed one later, and if you don't know where that is missed, you'd be troubleshooting a miss. So we use echo a lot just to give us a hint of what happened before that error through, or for the error occurred, so we can go to that part of this of the script to tell us what happened. So in this case, we are validating the share script, that is the bash script. So the we'll seed into the project root, and cd we'll seed into the script, like the script directory. So now we are in the script directory. Now we'll give a loop. We'll give a loop for this particular occurrence. So this loop would this loop this loop would tell us, we check for every xh file we have on the repository, and look for syntax error within those files. So this script in all the .sh script, and do it will do this. It would echo it would echo checking. This is what the message we're going to include here: checking script, checking for all the script, checking script. So when this echo done, we're going to have the bash. So this bash invokes the bash shell, and then we're going to have the non-exec option that tells us that that tells the bash to check the syntax of the script without actually executing it. So this would be -n colon the script we are looking for. So it's so now if this is the script, that is this any variable that contains the script, so it will not give us the all. We now have the all sign. This all sign up is it means that if the command on the left fails, so it will exist the code. So then the run command on the right. So once this fails, it will exit this and run the one on the right. So the one on the right is to exit with a status code of 1. So now we'll now go and put done, put done here. So I need to put this indentation very correctly so we can, yep. So now we have done here. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to have another echo. The echo would tell us that all script is validated. All script is validated. So now we're going to have one 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 more, only the only which we know runs only on the main. So we'll have this a lot. I've already explained it, so I won't have to explain it again. Main. page request. So we are done with validate. Now we are going to have um, the next stage, which is the um, provisioning the infrastructure. That is the infrastructure stage. Now that's the stage we are now. This stage provisions Docker resource in Terraform. So we would now give it a name as provision infrastructure. Okay. So next we have the stage. The stage would be infrastructure. Infrastructure. The tags would be deployment. So the next thing we're going to have is the script. The scripts now will not contain the jobs which are going to be run in this particular stage. So we'll start by putting the echo. Okay, we always have to put not always have to, but this is a thing of choice. This is how I prefer to put my script, so it's easy for me to troubleshoot. So the echo will be telling us the information that starting infrastructure provisioning, infrastructure provisioning, provisioning. So the next we would have is the we'll cd into the Terraform again from the project root cd to Terraform directory. Terraform directory. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to initialize, like this is going to fully initialize the Terraform init. That's what we're going to run now. Terraform init. So this will fully initialize Terraform, the providers and the backend, because initially we had backend as first, but now backend is not here as first. So this will initialize backend. So the next thing we're going to do is Terraform plan. This would generate the execution plan. Terraform plan. So this will execute the plan and save it to a file. So this ensures that what we apply is predictable. So the next one we're going to run is Terraform apply. So Terraform apply applies the exact plan without manual approval to create Docker network. Terraform apply auto approve. We're going to auto approve this. So it will execute, it will apply the plan. So I think I made a mistake here. This plan, not plain. So the next thing we're gonna have a couple of echo informational messages. So this will tell us that okay, infrastructure is provision. Infrastructure is provisioned. Infrastructure is provision. So we would now have another echo that would tell us that verifying the containers that were created. Echo verifying the containers. Verifying if the containers were created. So next thing we're going to have here is we're going to list the Docker containers in a table format. So this is going to list this command we're going to write is going to list the Docker container in a table format. So this is the table. So this is the table. It will be like this. Dot names. That's the name of the containers. The next table would be the status of the containers. And the next table would be the ports of these containers. So now we'll have another echo. This echo will just give us yeah, that this is done. This doesn't have any message. So just below the Terraform plan, there's something else we need to add here. Let me shift this a bit. So we need to add artifacts. So artifacts in this sense, these are they are GitLab files or directories that are created during CI/CD jobs. So those files and directories are created during CI/CD jobs that are persistent. Like they are used even when the job is finished, they continue being used. So this artifacts save those files as Terraform state files and log them as an artifact. So the artifact will allow subsequent jobs for later. Like if I'm going to run this, if I'm going to run this CI/CD again and again, it keeps going. Don't have to do I don't have to type it all over again. So it save all these files to be reused. So now we'll have artifact. No, don't want it to give me a suggestion. So we'll put path. So the paths we're gonna have here. So the paths we're gonna have here is the Terraform directory. So Terraform directory. So this directory would go to this file. It will go to this file where we have Terraform Terraform.tf state. So the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a file. We're going to create a file which is going to be the Terraform log file. So inside this Terraform directory, Terraform directory underscore yeah. So I'm going to create a dot Terraform. I'm going to create a state file. So basically, state file tracks the resources and manages them. So the log file, Terraform log, this automatically generates the Terraform that records the exact. It generates a Terraform file that records the exact version of providers that is used during our project. So this is essential for us to have this artifact, reuse them again during anytime we want to run the CI/CD again. So I think something came up here, part of the projection. Oh yeah, I will need this expire. I'll just take out this one. So why we need this expire, for this case I'll put expire in 1 day. So this expire in 1 day, it defines how long the artifact are kept before being automatically deleted. So we're specifying 1 day. So we are also adding a rule. We are going to add a rule. This rule will create this rule will run automatically run if commit if our commit message contains infrastructure. So we'll create a rule. Let me start the rule here and take sure I need to get this in the rule. Okay, rules. If this is going to be, if now is a conditional expression. So we are telling GitLab that if this evaluates so if this the next command we're going to give it now, if that evaluates, we're going to run the job. So this command we're putting here is a built-in GitLab variable containing commit message that triggers the pipeline. So this commit message triggers the pipeline. So commit underscore message is a default GitLab message. So we have the Terraform infrastructure. Infrastructure. So this means that this job will commit when this message contain infrastructure. So that's the rule number one. So when when is this going to happen? Always. So this always means that it defines what happens if the condition is true. So if the loop says that if there is infrastructure in this loop, let the commit message run. So and we are telling it that when how often does this going to happen when we have the loop as true. So we are saying this is going to happen always when we have infrastructure inside the commit message. So now we are going to say when another when is we're going to say manual. So now we are going to I'm going to give put another information here. Allow failure false. So we don't want to allow the failure to the pipeline to stop if the provisioning fails. So the pipeline will continue running if the provisioning fails. That's what this command is saying here. Indentation, one thing. Miss one indentation, you're going to come back to it. So now we are now on I think this should be the third stage. So the third stage now, this is health check. So we are now on health check. We're going to be writing the script for health check. That's the so we're going to give it name as health check. So the stage name would also be health check. Health check. So the tag deployment to the script. So we're gonna start with echo. Always want to give a message to script or what we are doing. So checking service health. We're checking the health of the service. So if the service is fine, I'm doing okay. So next we have a bash script. So this bash runs the script in the bash script we have in our repository. So this is the file, the directory where the script is, and we're gonna go to the bash file itself. That is healthcheck.sh. So this is it. Now we'll then let's see. So now we would give another message echo all all the services are healthy. Let's see, all the services are healthy. This is when it's complete. So what does this script depends on? So it depends on the job which is the provisioning infrastructure. So when we declare the needs, we are letting GitLab know that okay, this job, particular job depends on the provisioning and infrastructure job. So this means before running this job, this particular health check, we want to make sure that the provision infrastructure has completely successful. So that is what this is telling us. So that is why we call it stages. So every stage works after the other stage. So provision infrastructure. Okay. So so now the optional, we have optional. True. This optional means that um this can actually go ahead if the provisioning fails, if the provisioning infrastructure fails. So that's why we set it as true. So the next was just put normal only. Then we are having main. So yeah, the health check is pretty not much of a thing. So the next thing we're going to have here is the application deployment. So that's the next stage you're going to have. So if you see these stages, we've done the validate, we've done the infrastructure, we've done the head check. Now we want to deploy the application, the WordPress application. So we'll do that by saying deploy application, the stage deploy. Now the tags, what's deployment. So we now have the script. So we'll pass our message here. We are deploying. Now we are telling we're telling whoever is going to run this that okay, we are deploying WordPress. So we are deploying WordPress application. So the next job we have here is the CD. We are seeding into the root the root directory, which is OTP OPT DevOps project. Now, when we move to the DevOps project root, we would now write a bash command. This would just download the WordPress if missing, configure the WordPress config.php, and also verifies the volumes amount, and also the permissions. All these are contained in the in the bash script that is here. This is where the script is. This is the script deploy.sh. So this is where the script is. So the next thing here is the echo, another echo to tell us what just happened. Just will not say application deployed. Deployed. So now this needs, we have another needs here. So this needs the health check to verify. The health check will have to verify the deployment. So it ensures that um, this only happens after the health checks. So it's passed. Uh, so now we'll still have our only to be the main branch. We run on the main branch. So now we have completed the deployment. So now we are going to test this deployment. We're going to test this deployment. This is the fifth stage. We're going to test if this deployment validates or works. So now we'll just put test, test for deployment. So we'll put the stage test tag deployment script script. So the script is going to start with an echo. So we'll have echo running the deployment test. Running deployment test. Let's just say deployment test. So now we have the first test we're going to run here. So we're going to run the echo again. So now this particular section is testing the web server. It's going to test the web server, which is the WordPress. So we also have another section that is going to test the DB database, and we have another one that is going to test the containers, Docker containers. So we'll test this, testing the web server. So we need to test if testing web server accessibility. Accessibility. So the next thing here is we're going to write HTTP code, store and return the HTTP status code on the web server. So this is a share variable. It's a share variable that is going to run on the web server. So I'm gonna do HTTP or code equal to bracket call. This is running a silent mode operation. So the dev.no discards any response body that will come out from this. Any response that will come. So dev the the W and the percentage in bracket, the HTTP code tells us that the call output only, it tells the call output to to give an output only to the HTTP status. So it this, this call here is going to give an output only the HTTP code. So this will go here. Okay, so now we have the HTTP code. HTTP. So this HTTP code now to the local HTTP to the forward slash the local host is the URL that is being tested. The URL of the WordPress that is being tested. So we'll have forward slash localhost. So we'll have command run HTTP. So this particular code now is a loop that tells us that if the HTTP code returns 200, this should happen. It should. Okay, if the HTTP code returns, let me just put it down. Returns 200. 200. If the HTTP code return 200, we'll have the all operator. This all operator would tell us, okay, this, or if it returns this, which is the HTTP HTTP code. If it returns 302, then we'll have the then command. It will now echo web server test passed. So this will echo web server test passed. HTTP code. Okay, so if if this if this happens, we now have another loop here that say else echo this web server test failed. So either way, there's gonna be a response. So it's gonna be HTTP code. So once this whole response comes up, we'll exit the code with exit the status code 1. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna write another part of this test that is gonna be testing the database. So um this would essentially test the database echo telling us that we are testing the database connectivity, testing database connectivity. So we'll not go to the web container. So this will give us a list of the containers that are stored in the variable docker ps. So it will list all the containers by running docker ps web container equal to echo dollar docker yes to filter the name starting with the web server name equal to web server. So the format would be names. So it's going to put the names of the containers in the table. Like so we now have head one. So this head one takes first match if multiple containers are found. So this now the next part of this particular line of text code is you're going to have another loop, just like you have in the first one. You're going to have another loop, and this loop will have the -z container, which means that it checks for the variable if it's empty or if nothing is found. It will not give us what will be the next response. So it check for the container -z web web container. Then if this is run, and if no container is found, it should echo this, echo web container not found, web container. Okay, web container not found, not found. So if this echoes, we'll just exit with a status code 1. So now we'll not check for the not check for Docker. We're testing for Docker now. Check the PHP, that is the PHP web server that is running in a Docker container. So we are going to execute the PHP inside the Docker container to confirm if the DB connectivity is working. So the command we are going to run here is docker exec exec web container, or web container PHP. So the PHP, this command PHP hyphen this command, it executes PHP code directly from the command line. Then let's take it up here so we can see the, yeah. Now we are going to add some more command. The link, this link would try to connect the MySQL. Complete this command first before I explain. MySQL SQLi connect DB server. WP user, WP user, WP password. On WordPress. So what this command does is it's gonna try to connect to the MySQL, try to connect to the MySQL MariaDB database and WordPress, and then on the on the on the DB server using the credentials that were outlined there in the line of script. So next we're gonna do a loop if the link echo echo database database connection successful. Now, right, we're gonna give MySQL a close link. So if the link connection fails, it's gonna print um status of the my database connection failed. But if this succeed, gonna print database successful. So now, okay, echo. First of all, start with MySQL connect connect error. Gonna play this error. So when this happens, it should exit the code, exit the code, exit with the status one. So we're gonna go to the next, which is another echo database. This is when gonna echo when the connection. While we are on a loop, so the loop has to be two side. So it's gonna be either this happens or this happens to database connection successful successful. So put this here, MySQLi close. We're gonna close the link here. So we'll have another parameter here, which is the all sign. If this closes, with have another echo. This echo is going to tell us all tests passed. So yeah, and we now have our test deployment. Just one last thing we need to do. This test depends on the deployment of the application. So this test, like we already have in the previous stages, this test is being declared that the current job depends on the deployment of the application. So we're declaring the needs here, declaring the needs here. Deploy an application. So we're declaring this needs here because the current job now depends on the deployment of the application, which was a stage we did above. So when the application is deployed, that is when the test would run. So and this will only run on the main branch, no other. So we're done with this. Now we are now on the last stage of this of the CI/CD, which is destroy infrastructure. So we want to destroy the infrastructure. Once we are done, we are going to check first of all if the WordPress is accessible before we destroy. So as a step we do, state clean up, tags, deployment, and the script we are going to give here echo. So we are going to give a message that we are destroying the infrastructure. infrastructure. So now we'll cd into the project and down to the Terraform directory. Cd into the root project. Terraform. We'll now do the Terraform init. Initialize the We're going to initialize the Terraform. So before we destroy, we also initialize Terraform. So we're also going to do the Terraform destroy. Terraform destroy auto approve. So Terraform um an automated way of provisioning resources and also destroy resources when you have the script included in it. So it would help you to destroy your resources, both provisioned from cloud, both the resources version from cloud, you can destroy it with Terraform without going to the cloud to destroy it manually. So Terraform can just destroy this script, the resources just with the script. So we're going to give a message that okay, infrastructure infrastructure okay, infrastructure destroyed. So this is going to happen manually when it's going to happen manually. And it should fail. So it will only occur in the main branch. So this is script. This is the 6 stages. I will take us through the stages, and I will use this as a means of also checking infrastructure. Yeah, this is also a way of checking my syntax if there was any error. This is the variables. So we have the six stages. This is the variables. So we validate. Now the first stage is to validate. Validate the script on the Terraform. Now we now go over to validate the script on the bash script. So we also the next thing we did was to provision infrastructure. So we feed into Terraform directory, run the Terraform init, Terraform plan, and we run the Terraform apply, and so we have our echo to give us information of what's going on. So now we have the artifacts. Like I said, artifacts are files that when you are running this, we can run it, we can reuse it. So this artifact saves files or directories that are reusable. So if you want to reuse them, it will save them. So it saves it in the Terraform log. So now, how many days stays for? It stays for 1 day. We set it to save for 1 day. So after a day, it should be deleted. So the next thing we have is the commit. We have the rules. The rule is if the commit message contains infrastructure, this would happen always. Like this would it will always um it will always do manual trigger. If this contain infrastructure, it will be a manual trigger. And if the infrastructure appears always, that's what it means. So this will have a manual trigger. Allow failure. This allow failure stops any failure. Allows does not prevent the script from running after this particular stage fails. So the health checks for the health of this the bash script. Like we have the health check here in the bash script. It checks for all the infrastructure health of the infrastructure that was provisioned. So we have the deploy application, which is the deploy stage. This deploys the WordPress application. We have the test deployment. The test deployment starts with testing the web server. It tests the database connectivity. It tests the and it tests the Docker container. So this um this also depends on the deployed application. Now we have the destroy, which is the last stage. This cleans up all the infrastructure that was created. So having done all this, we'll not click on commit changes to run the pipeline. So check for pipeline 6. I think I missed something. So let's just check this error and see what validate. So this is 5, supposed to be 6. Infrastructure, health, deploy, test. Oh, there's no cleanup. So let's just check what happened here first. We'll go and find what happened in the cleanup. So this is happening on line 147. This shows us. So this would not check for. Okay, so let's go and check our editor and see where we made an error. This is cleanup. Cleanup is here, 6 of them. I think we did not put stage. Cleanup is here. Stage, cleanup, manual. Why is cleanup not showing up? Clean up, destroy, infrastructure, cleanup. So we are going to check. Okay. For this project root, create directory. Okay. Is cleanup not showing up? That's one thing we need to. So we are just checking to see what went through. Okay, it's not showing 6. So we would now check why this failed again. This might just be one mistake with validating shell script for script in this check. Syntax unexpected for file bash. Think we might have just made one error in the syntax. Okay, tags deployment. The Let's commit it again. Okay, this happened in the second level of validate. Let's see. Validate Terraform is correct. Validate. Okay, let's try it one more time. So we probably must have missed something, which is why this failed. So we are running it again. Hopefully it doesn't fail this time. Okay, it passed. All right, so now we'll now go to manually provisioning this infrastructure. Okay, this is done. So we are waiting for it again. So we have the feed error for the test deployment. So let us go back to the editor again and check what we missed. So we're checking through the test deployment stage. Here's test deployment stage. We have the HTTP call. Yeah, silent operation. This. Localhost. We have the web server, the database filter. This not found. And let's go to the pipeline. I see the error. Okay. All right. So it's coming with a new error now. We have testing pass flag. All right. So I think the thing came from Docker run. Let's check Docker run now and see what we have in Docker. So we just check if we missed something there and we'll replace it or change it or remove it. Web container, Docker filter. Oh, Docker PS. Supposed to have Docker PS here. So let's commit the change again and see what the result will be now. We'll go to the pipeline status and continue to observe it from there. Continue to observe it from the pipeline status. Okay, the validate Terraform done, validate script done. So we would wait for the provisioning, which is manual. We just click on the play and continue. Now we will wait for it to provision the infrastructure, and next to be the health check. So this is provisioning, health done, deploy application is on the way. Deploy application is on the way. Once this is done, now test is currently running. Test deployment is currently running. Okay, I think this passed. So great. This is awesome. Now we will go and the next task, which is the instruction, is to check if the data the WordPress is accessible. So I will do that by checking. I'll do that by checking. Uh, okay. So I'll do that first of all by checking the. Let me restart this. Okay, this has restarted. Let me check for the um. Let me check for the IP address of the machine we are using. The ifconfig.me, the public IP address. That's what we're checking. Okay, here is the public IP address. So let's copy this, go to a browser and paste it here and run and see if the what oh, great WordPress is accessible. Awesome. So we can actually use our WordPress. We have English, South Africa, continue. All right, we can already start here. Everything done. So great. The pipeline works. We will now go back to pipeline and destroy. So here we've confirmed that the WordPress is working, is accessible here. You can see WordPress installation is here. So not just we'll go to the pipeline and destroy it to complete one simple um later operation that is missed can just stop the whole thing, and you would be looking around checking what went wrong. So this would pass, I believe. Yep. Okay. So our CI/CD is complete. Here is the CI/CD. Everything is done. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.